I have figured out who the main villain of Spider-Man Brand New Day is. And it will blow your mind. Here comes a clickbait title. You have never guessed this, or gone wrong, gone spider sensed. It's like, holy shit, I know who the main villain is. I think I'm the first one to even actually contribute to this theory. I think I'm actually the first one to actually say this character, because I'm probably one of the few people that actually know who the fuck this character is. But, well, everyone else is usually saying Mr. Negative this, or the Hulk. That's crazy. Okay, the Hulk being the villain for Spider-Man movie, despite all the character development he's already had in the MCU, that would be poor writing on Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League levels. That would be insane. Who the actual main villain is happens to be a little creature from a couple of comics, a run of comics that I don't know you know of. I don't even think you've heard of this title of these comics before, but from a little run during the 2000s called Spider-Man Brand New Day. See what I did there? Yeah, her name is Lily Hollister. She became a female Green Goblin called Menace. There's a whole weird love triangle between her and Harry and Norman at the same time. If she is in this movie, they're gonna definitely ignore that, and they're definitely gonna take that out of her story. But like, there's this whole weird circle of like goblin incest where she's like, "Oh Harry, I love you. Oh my God, Norman, that's a glorious Glock, a goblin cock." I personally don't want to see that kind of like little love triangle. But, like, I do want to see her character, and I do want to see her as the villain. And I do like the idea of Menace being in the MCU as the MCU's Goblin. And I really do like that female Goblin villain shit, as well as, like, how she operates, how different or how much similar she is to other Goblins, how evil can she be, etc., etc. I love her as a villain in the comics, and I love her here, if she's here. But why Kibdoro? Why do you think Menace, of all characters, is in this movie? Well, this movie already confirms that Boomerang International is in here, so obscure villains are already at play. But why do you specifically think a goblin who also was, mind you, pregnant at one time? She's not gonna be pregnant in here. I don't think. Maybe that's the motivation. Why she becomes a menace in this movie. Just or maybe could do it other way around. She becomes a menace because of a miscarriage. But I don't know. I don't know. But why do you think Menace is in this movie? Well, believe it or not, I'm not a complete crackhead this time around with my theory. There is some evidence that points to this, especially that demon sigil that people think is Mr. Negative. I gotta remind you guys, their demon Legos are completely different than whatever that shit was on the tank. And I'm gonna break down into this whole little thing. Ooh, nobody cares. We wanna know whether or not the symbiote's gonna be in the movie or not. I'll get to that young Harry Osborn from Spider-Man 2 video game. Today's video is focusing on Menace right now. I'll get to the symbiote shit later. Well, maybe later in this video as well as later in general, but you know what. Now, here's my evidential support of why I think Menace would be in Brand New Day, besides the fact that she also debuted in a Brand New Day comic, and the fact that it would make sense to continue Peter's journey with the trauma of goblins with yet another goblin. I know some of y'all can't judge the idea for Menace when some of y'all saying that leads for Hobgoblin. Like, if anything, Menace makes more sense than fucking Hobgoblin. Like, what? So, here's my whole evidential support of the idea that Menace is in Spider-Man 4 Brand New Day, which includes the fact that she debuted in a Brand New Day comic. I'm not gonna be restless with that. She's just straight up in that comic, and that comic's cover is straight up MCU Spider-Man suit right now. So, evidence number one for this theory: there was a laugh at the end of this Spider-Man promotional video, this Brand New Day promotional video, that sounded like both a woman's laugh and a evil, sinister, almost goblin-like laugh. And while yes, it could be a laugh for any type of villain or any type of female villain, it particularly sounds a little
higher in its pitch, like how a goblin that we have usually have seen had gone, like like a Joker laugh as well. We've seen this type of Joker goblinish laugh in past Spider-Man movies before, especially with Dan DeHaan's Green Goblin. Take a listen.
Let's back up the police cars.
For God's sake!
To me, it reminds me a lot of William Dafoe's Green Goblin, like ha 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 ha, but like slower, a little bit slower than that, but also like a little bit more feminine too, and that fits in line with Menace perfectly, especially with the idea with No Way Home actually having William Dafoe's Goblin before. Another potential piece of evidence that Menace is in the Spider-Man Brand New Day movie is the fact that casting calls, rumors, all of this shit has been saying that there is a female lead villain in the movie. If not the main villain in the movie, just a female villain in the movie that's a lead villain that's supposed to be supposedly dark, edgy, and inspiring of Japanese look, especially like Japanese samurai looks as seen by conceptual art that I'll show later right here. And that fits in line with Menace. I feel like Menace is someone you could easily give like samurai look to, as she has all this like armor look already, and plus like there's a lot of arguments for this shit regarding like the demons from Mr. Negative who use like demon imagery for their shit that they could use from Menace as well.
One could make the argument that Norman in the original Raimi vs. Spider-Man movies also took from samurai and other types of cultural stuff like that to base his Green Goblin appearance as well as the Green Goblin armor. So it wouldn't be out of the question for Menace to quite literally like take samurai, like especially with the MCU's designs and how the MCU sometimes incorporates designs. I could see them taking the basis of her already somewhat armored and cloaked appearance in the comics and giving it more samurai characteristics, like having more samurai shit all over the place, like upon the demon. I wouldn't be surprised if they incorporate her comic demon mask as like a samurai mask with the little horns and shit. I could see that being the case. Just like how in the first Spider-Man movie, you see all these other like masks on the walls. That's like it's supposed to be like a nice implication for Green Goblin, and then what we will see later on with Green Goblin. You know.
Another piece of evidence that it could be Menace is this logo that people thought was with the inner demons. Sorry, chat, I'm gonna have to disagree. The logo is way too simplistic. 1 and 2, it's out of place for the inner demons to do something like this. Like I would say it's poor writing for them to, like it would be a bad adaptation if they were just suddenly just being graffiti artists on their vehicles. Like hey, this could be a Decepticon for all we know too, but like that logo is also way too simplistic for the inner demons. That's why I attribute it as a more of a reference to Menace's mask.
It would make more sense for the Spider-Man villain that quite literally has a demon face to have a demon logo that she would plaster on stuff than a group of criminal demons who, yes, they have demon appearances and demon masks and shit, but they don't really go around vandalizing vehicles. They do a lot of shit. I think people forget that, especially in Atomic Experiment's case, the inner demons are supposed to be, they're supposed to be more quiet. They're supposed to be more kept a secret. They're supposed to be more, like, in the shadows and the operations of the drug dealings and their assaults and all that shit. Like, they don't go around making themselves known. They don't go around painting their fucking logos on everything. They definitely wouldn't do on something as big as a fucking tank. So I hugely doubt the inner demons.
Also, I just started looking at it more. It's reminding me a lot of Ultimate Goblin's look with a horn specifically. So I don't know. It's also red. The color is also red, which is also primarily Menace's color. If this was gonna be Inner Demons, then the logo would have been like white or black, I think, with maybe a little bit of blue. But I don't know. Yeah, it's looking a lot possible to be Menace instead. Especially with the fact that her mask happens to also look demonic.
Some people might argue that it's too soon for Green Goblin or Goblin this or Goblin that, but that's what makes Menace work perfectly as a Goblin stand-in, is that you could have her, like, contribute those similar traits of what we know from other Green Goblins and Hobgoblins and all that shit, without her fully being, like, a... That's why I think they're going to use the samurai design specifically to mask the more goblin-esque appearances, and did with the samurai demon mask, like I mentioned earlier, to technically not be too goblinish, while also still using her as a stand-in goblin. I think that's what they'll do if they're doing Menace. And I think it works in the sense of like, oh shit, you got this Green Goblin-esque character becoming a threat to Spider-Man before his eventual in-universe Green Goblin, his MCU universe Green Goblin shows up, you know, or Hobgoblin. You got that. It's like it happens in the comics sometimes with Proto Goblin. She could be a composite of the two, Menace and Proto Goblin, and that'd be interesting to see.
Actually, my friend Ultraman, aka Avatar the Ash on Twitter, made a good point. Story-wise, it would make sense for him to fight another goblin, in this case a goblin that has more of a demon appearance with Menace, right after the film where a goblin killed his aunt, so he could overcome that trauma. I think that's actually a brilliant way to wrap things up.
We want to know now, will the symbiote, the Venom symbiote, the black suit be in Spider-Man Brand New Day? Or will it be introduced in Secret Wars?
Fine, I'll address it right now. I do have a full video planned later for this, but yes, I do think the symbiote's going to be in Brand New Day. I don't think it makes sense for it to be introduced in Secret Wars, right when Secret Wars is a movie, it's going to reboot the thing, so you're just going to see him get the symbiote and then reboot it. I don't think that makes sense. I think they want to have a little bit of fucking symbiote screen time before that. Plus, the Secret Wars movie that's being made is not taking roots from the original fucking 80s, 90s comic issues of Secret Wars, or like the Beyonders version of Battle World, where the Venom symbiote first came to play, where it bonded with Spider-Man, and he's like, oh my god, it's coming at the side of me. Like, I don't think they're adapting that comic per se. I think they're mostly adapting the 2015 run of Doctor Doom, especially since Doomsday leads right into Secret Wars. So yeah, I don't even think it's gonna be anything like the original Secret Wars. You know, what a symbiote debuted in. So I think it's gonna actually be Brand New Day instead of Secret Wars. The only reason why people say Secret Wars is because they know of the original Secret Wars where the symbiote made its appearance, and they're like, that would be a cool parallel. When that? A Secret Wars movie and a Secret Wars comic where he first showed up in, and I just gotta say something about that. They're not technically the same Secret Wars. It's simple as that. So no, I don't think he's gonna appear. I don't think the Venom symbiote's gonna appear in Secret Wars. Well, I mean, he's gonna wear the symbiote in Secret Wars, but I don't think it's gonna be introduced in Secret Wars. You know what I mean? Well, that's it for today's video. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed. Spoiler. I'm Spider-Man. That's so dumb.